John Ashbrook, co-host of the Ruthless podcast. Great to see you guys. Welcome. We did several interviews over the years with Eric Swalwell, and some of them were around the period of Judge Kavanaugh's process and the height of the Me Too allegations. And we all know that there were justified allegations during that period, and there were some that completely fell apart. It was a period where there was a ton of finger pointing. And in his case, in Swalwell's case, we're going to watch as the legal process takes place and plays out as it should. However, I just want to remind people what he said about Brett Kavanaugh and the person who accused him back then. Watch this.
What are the chances that 3 or 4 women independently who never met each other would have similar experiences with one person? He has painted himself as a choir boy who never engaged in any of this behavior, and all of the evidence seems to go the other way. And women have just saved our butts this whole Trump administration in the first 2 years. I think we can count on them.
Okay. Michael, let me start with you. What's your reaction to all this?
I mean, the allegations against Swalwell are shocking and horrifying. But in that clip you just played, they're also incredibly ironic. Remember, this guy was a lead attack dog for Nancy Pelosi against Donald Trump, against Justice Kavanaugh. The other word that comes to mind is convenient, and that is for Democrats. Steve Hilton is leading the gubernatorial jungle primary in California, Republican, and Democrats fear that they're going to be boxed out of that runoff. So it's awfully convenient for the powers that be to suddenly turn their backs on Swalwell when everyone knew these rumors for years. So what I want to know is who knew what when.
Yeah, John, let's deal with the California politics here for a moment, and then we're going to get back to this part of the story. But as was just pointed out by Michael, they have a jungle primary in California. So the top 2 candidates after the primary, they run against each other, even if they're 2 Republicans. And you can see how things stack up right now. What do you smell here in the water in terms of the timing on this getting out?
Well, here's the thing, Martha. You cannot talk California politics without mentioning Nancy Pelosi. Pelosi is out there claiming that she knew nothing of this, and I don't believe that for a second. She knows everything that goes on in Democrat politics in that state. She knew what was going on with Eric Swalwell, and she knew that he has to be out of the way if they stand any chance to beat Steve Hilton in this California race. Steve's actually running a great campaign, and the reality is that this governor's seat matters so much to Democrats because they view California as a way to control what happens in the rest of the country. There is one thing that's axiomatic with Democrat politics and the mainstream liberal media. They do not attack a Democrat unless it's in service of a second Democrat. That's what's happening in this case, Martha, and I believe that we're going to see it over and over again until somebody stops them.
All right, here's Nancy Pelosi on this watch.
Did you tell him to resign?
Oh, I think that was his decision. I think it's a smart decision to make.
The right thing to do. Some Republicans and others are saying that Democrats turned kind of a blind eye, that they knew what he was up to or what the allegations were.
That is absolutely positive. And it's true that they may say that, but it is absolutely not true.
You had no idea?
None whatsoever. None whatsoever. I had none whatsoever.
There were a lot of stories that circulated back in the Me Too era about a California congressman who people were hearing these kinds of stories about. Now, stories are stories, rumors are rumors, and there were not, claims made at police stations back in that time. But here's another person who has stood by him, one of his closest friends, apparently, Ruben Gallego of Arizona, who just made this statement. Watch this.
Again, this man led a double life. He lied to us. He lied to his family, lied to his constituents. Some of the most powerful people in this country, even before he ran, he was trusted with some positions that normally we would never think someone like this could do if they're leading that double life. And again, I was manipulated, I was lied to, and everyone else was too.
Michael, a lot of these folks are the same ones, including Swalwell, who said you have to believe every woman, right? That's the test for credibility. If it's a woman who's saying something, then you have to believe her. We all remember the messy part of this era in many ways. But Michael, your take on what's going to happen to him and what's going to happen from here for California.
Well, I would say number one, Ruben Gallego, when these first allegations surfaced, he was saying, oh, well, this person on X created their account 3 days ago, trying to minimize these accusations against Swalwell. And now he's talking like he barely knows the guy. Ruben Gallego chaired his presidential campaign. He was also the poster boy for Nancy Pelosi. And it's like, oh, well, you know, he was a nice guy, kept to himself. I didn't really know this guy. It's ludicrous. I do not believe they did not know about this. Ruben Gallego also saying, oh, well, I knew he was flirty. Come on, you traveled with him, you chaired his presidential campaign. There's more to this story, Martha.
Yeah, just real quickly, John, you think somebody leaked this in order to reorganize that governor's race in California?
Without a doubt, Martha, that is the only motivation for this story coming out now. We heard the horrible story from that woman about 2018, and you have to ask yourself, why is today the day that this story is coming out?
8 years later.
You know that, yeah, you know Democrats are only allowing it to come out now because this governor's race is at play.
All right. Thank you very much, guys. Good to see you both, Michael and John. Always good to have you. Thank you. Ruthless podcasters.
Thank you.
Of course.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.